The Joker has been the most mysterious figure in Alice in Borderland since Season 2's finale, but the show's Season 3 finally reveals the truth about him. In its early moments, Alice in Borderland captivated viewers with its fascinating survival games and brilliant fantasy world-building. Almost everything about the Netflix Japanese live-action show's titular setting was a mystery. As Alice in Borderland progressed, it gradually unveiled everything from where the Borderlands exist to why only some humans ended up there. Alice in Borderland Season 2 ended on a high note, where Arisu not only returned to the real world but also reunited with Usagi. However, before Season 2's credits started rolling, it hinted at the existence of an overarching Joker who was going to pull Arisu back to the world he escaped. Season 3 finally clears the air of mystery and intrigue around the Joker and the meaning of his card. Arisu was playing against the Joker in Alice in Borderland Season 3. Arisu looking at Usagi and seeming conflicted in Alice in Borderland Season 3. Arisu's journey in Alice in Borderland Seasons 1 and 2 was relatively simpler in the sense that he just had to beat all the games to return to the real world. Every game had its own set of complex twists and turns, but at least winning them guaranteed that he would get to go back home. Things take a more complicated turn in Season 3 when Arisu finds himself facing the Joker. Even though Arisu has little to no memories from his previous run in the Borderlands and does not accidentally find himself in a near-death situation, he and his wife, Usagi, are tricked into returning to the games. Arisu's performance at the games rarely falters, but the citizen, Banda, who plotted his return to the games, plans to trap him in an even bigger ploy regardless of whether he wins or loses. Owing to how Arisu almost finds himself in a lose-lose situation against a masterful trickster, the stakes during his second run at the Borderlands are significantly higher. Banda was not the Joker in Alice in Borderland Season 3. Banda in Alice in Borderland. Banda was one of the surviving characters in Alice in Borderland Season 2. However, unlike Arisu and his friends, Banda chose to stay behind in the Borderlands because it gave him the freedom to do anything he wanted. In Season 3, Banda plots to bring Arisu back to the Borderlands and make him a citizen, believing it would make the world between life and death even more interesting. Initially, it is hard not to see Banda as the overarching Joker, given how he tricks Usagi and Arisu into returning to the Borderlands to pull off his grand plan. He even goes around giving the Joker card to every new player he invites for the final set of games, suggesting he is the Joker pulling all the strings. However, Alice in Borderland Season 3's ending arc confirms that even though Banda holds immense power as a citizen in the Borderlands, he is not the Joker. The show also confirms that he, too, works under even more powerful figures in the mysterious world between life and death. Was Ken Watanabe's Man in the Hat character the Joker? Ken Watanabe as the Borderlands guard in Alice in Borderland. When Arisu disagrees to join Banda as a citizen, Banda decides to kill him and send him to the afterlife. However, before Banda can pull the trigger, a mysterious man in a hat appears. Played by Ken Watanabe, the man gets Banda out of his way and asks Arisu to play a game of cards with him. The man in the hat picks two random cards from a deck and asks him to pick one. He tells him that if he picks a Joker, he will not get to choose his fate. Arisu ends up choosing a Joker and confronts the man for tricking him by offering him two Joker cards as choices. When Arisu asks him if he is the Joker, he assures him that he is not who he thinks he is. He says that he merely serves as a watchman and gatekeeper at the Borderlands. The man even encourages Arisu to choose death over living because it would free him from the pain and miseries of human existence in the real world. Arisu, however, disagrees and confronts him for asking him to choose death when he himself does not have the courage to leave the Borderlands and accept death. The Joker was neither a person nor a game in Alice in Borderland. A person holding the Joker card in Alice in Borderland. To explain the significance of the Joker, the man in the hat tells Arisu that the Joker is nothing more than a card. He draws parallels between the human calendar and the deck of cards by highlighting how the sum of all cards in a deck is 364. If one adds a Joker to it, the total goes to 365, which is the number of days in a year.